Desolation, barren lands, weird plants, and landscapes that seem otherworldly. This is a place shaped by deserts and water. Usually, it's the lack of water and the presence of deserts that define life here. Contrary to what many think, many creatures have adapted to these harsh conditions. Unexpected forms of life appear in the most unlikely places. Sometimes there's water, and sometimes there's none. The springs are dry for most of the year. Surprisingly, fog is the most reliable water source. Every drop is crucial for the animals in this area. This is the story of wild Namibia, home to some of the rarest life forms. Etosha hosts surprisingly large herds, despite having rain only for a short time each year. The conditions are tough. However, the desert is the only other option. Life in Etosha is easier compared to the desert. Yet, the struggle to survive never stops. Etosha, a dusty, vast expanse, comes to life around waterholes. Dry and dusty plains are home to many species. Herbivores find food even during the dry season, although it's limited. Large grasslands, short, thorny plants, and acacia trees help keep the herds alive. However, the available food is spread over a vast area. Herds have to keep moving constantly. In Etosha, zebras live on the borders. They can't survive in the desert. Instead, they roam these lands to find food and make do with scarce resources. Until the rainy season comes and the grass turns green briefly, zebras must find ways to stay alive. The African sun is scorching. Then there are pesky insects and parasites. Dust bathing seems like the best solution until they find water. The Oryx is probably Namibia's best adapted animal to drought. Having evolved to live in the harshest parts of the desert, Etosha is a refuge for these animals, even during the dry season. They know they will eventually find a water hole. This place isn't as harsh as the desert. There's some food and a bit of shade. The animals are covered in dust. This seemingly endless journey over barren lands must end soon. They are thirsty and tired. It's not just the scorching sun, hunger and thirst. Zebras and antelopes in Etosha face another threat. This is the territory of the lion. These lions are content. Food is plentiful in Etosha. They just need to keep an eye on their territory. While the young ones play, experienced adults hunt for their next meal. The male lion rests not far from his family. Since he's not hunting, he doesn't need to hide. A new day starts in Africa. Day in and day out. Creatures must struggle to find food, shelter, and reproduce. The cycle of nature is simple. Herbivores travel miles to find fresh grass and water holes or protect their young. One of Africa's oldest, most cunning, and efficient hunters lives in Arindi's wetlands. This is the Nile crocodile, a species that has survived for millions of years. Every creature near the water must always be on guard. The crocodile is an ambush hunter. Crocodiles aren't a threat to adult hippos. The crocodile knows better than to attack a much larger and stronger animal. However, calves must stay close to their mothers at all times. One mistake could cost a young hippo its life. Irindi is home to a hunter as efficient as the crocodile. This place is one of the last sanctuaries for the African wild dog, an endangered species. Also known as the painted dog, due to its striking patterns. Wild dogs hunt in packs and care for their young and old members who can't hunt. They are very social animals. The dogs have smelled their prey and are now locked on their target. They will chase their prey until they catch it. Wild dogs are tough and fast. If needed, they will keep chasing until morning. They've taken down an impala. The impala is still alive when they sink their teeth into it. But it's a quick death. Even a blink of an eye means missing out on food. Every dog is alone in the fight to get a bite. They tear off large chunks from the impala. Wild dogs are the fastest eating predators in Africa. Brown hyenas have smelled the food, but taking on such a large pack isn't easy. For now, the hyena must settle for scattered scraps. The jackal stays close to the hyena. It's also after smaller pieces that fit its size. Avoiding a fight with the dogs, the hyena tries to leave with as much meat as possible. In the safety of the bushes, it can eat later in peace. The brown hyena circles the dogs, looking for a chance. The dogs have eaten most of the impala. They're full and no longer interested in the hyena. Meanwhile, the jackal is still after bigger pieces. Biting off more than it can chew might be risky for the jackal. It's nearing the end of another day in Arendi along Namibia's Atlantic coast. The Benguela cold current brings nutrient-rich plankton from Antarctica to these shores. This makes the Namib coast home to a variety of species, even though it looks pretty harsh. Those who adapted well and stayed strong have survived here. The Cape fur seal, one of the most common residents of this wild Namib coast, is the main food source for the hyenas. A huge crowd feeds on the nutrient-packed waters brought by the Benguela current. Cape fur seals gather on these beaches and rocks all year round. There are about 300,000 seals on the Skeleton Coast alone. The Cape fur seal's body isn't really made for life on land, but the dangers in the ocean force them to take shelter on this coast. Seals have evolved to move in water, so they're able to adapt to the changing climate. But they are quite clumsy on land. Seals are super noisy. Among the masses, mothers and pups recognize each other by smell and sound. Finding its mother is crucial for the pup. Mother's milk will be the only food source until the pup learns to hunt. Seals seem happy while feeding in the water, showing no signs of their land clumsiness. While young pups wait on the shore for their mothers to return, those old enough to swim will join their mothers. Inexperienced seals don't venture far from the shore, since there could be sharks in these cold waters. The seal colony isn't alone. Namibia's Atlantic coast is also home to many bird species. Terns and cormorants are permanent residents here. Cormorants know the dangers lurking in the wavy ocean waters. They wait for seals to drive the schools of fish closer to the shore. The Cape gull is both a predator and an opportunist. It hovers around the seals. While it's no threat to an adult seal, it can be dangerous for the pups. The gull looks for a vulnerable pup whose mother is out at sea. However, finding food on these wild coasts isn't hard. This little pup has lost its mother in the water and can't get back to the colony. It's hungry and exhausted, with slim chances of surviving without its mother and the rest of the colony. Cape gulls know this and wait patiently for the right moment. The harsh geography of Namibia is full of opportunities for those ready to take them. The seal colony remains calm until the males come ashore to establish harems. Territorial fights start once they reach the shore. Soon, new pups will be born. As the newborn season approaches, one of the most unexpected figures on the Atlantic coast turns into a predator. The first seal to appear in the area is the jackal, the opportunist hunter of African plains and forests. The coast is full of carcasses. The jackals will have to make do with these until the vulnerable pups start appearing on the beach. For now, the seals don't seem bothered by the jackals. Still, it's wise to stay cautious. The jackal can be dangerous, especially for the pups. Even though these windy and wavy coasts don't offer shelter to the jackal, the annual feast is too good to miss. Jackals time the birth of their pups when food is plentiful. Water sources are just as crucial for birds. This is the only habitat for aquatic birds in Etosha. After feeding on the savanna, helmeted guinea fowls come close to the water. They can't survive without drinking water regularly. The Kori bustard is one of the heaviest birds that can fly. It must stay alert while drinking water, as it can't escape quickly from the water. But it can fly very fast. Flying with a heavy body takes a lot of energy, so it prefers to waddle around instead. Namakwa doves are also thirsty after a long journey. They can fly over 100 kilometers a day to find water. But this journey is risky. This is the moment jackals have been waiting for. Where there's plenty of prey, there are plenty of predators. All creatures are happy by the water, but they are also tired and restless. They don't want jackals nearby. It's not wise to anger the zebras and springboks, but this area is too valuable to abandon. Birds have a great advantage over jackals. They can fly. Jackals will try again. Most doves will survive, but the jackals will catch enough to fill their stomachs. Tomorrow is a new day. The birds will return, and the jackals will be waiting. Deserts cover a third of our planet's land. These landscapes showcase some of the most dramatic scenes in the world. Surviving here requires extraordinary methods. There's no room for the weak. The Namib Desert, located in the southwestern part of Africa. This is the oldest desert on Earth, about 55 million years old. Each day gets a bit hotter. The desert keeps expanding. Time will tell if life can adapt to these changing conditions. The desert is constantly moving. Sand is always on the move. Add strong winds, and you get a landscape that's always changing. The base of a sand dune might not have moved for thousands of years, but the peaks are constantly shifting as the wind blows the sand around. Sossusvlei is one of Namibia's most iconic sites. With peaks reaching 350 meters, these huge red sand dunes are some of the largest in the world. There are clay pans trapped between these massive dunes, known as deadvlei. This former wetland is now dotted with dead camel thorn trees. The dark trunks of these dead trees rising from the white clay ground create an eerie but stunning scene. Life seems frozen in time in deadvlei. These trees died about 900 years ago. Without water, they couldn't survive, but the dead trees are still standing. The scorching African temperatures and low humidity dried the trees before they could decompose. The Namib Desert might be challenging for many, but reptiles have thrived here. Several snake species live in this area. Snakes must search for food while avoiding the scorching sand for too long. They need a hole to hide in and shade to take shelter. The horned viper, an expert in camouflage, matches the color of the desert surface. It waits patiently for unsuspecting prey to come close. Most snakes have eyes on the sides of their heads, but the sidewinder has eyes on top of its head. There's a reason for this. The sidewinder gets its name from the way it moves across the sand. Moving sideways is not only fast, but also a safe way to travel on loose ground. This way, only a small part of its body touches the hot sand. Once it finds a good hunting spot, the sidewinder slowly buries itself in the sand. Only its head and tail remain visible. With its eyes on top of its head, it can see prey even when buried in the sand. The track chat is quite timid. The sidewinder may be very venomous, but it's not a major predator. As the sun sets over the rugged landscapes of Namibia, the interplay of life and survival unfolds in vivid detail. From the barren expanses of the Namib Desert to the nutrient-rich waters of the Atlantic coast, Namibia is a land of contrasts and adaptations. Each creature, whether it be the nimble Cape fur seal, the resilient jackal, or the majestic Oryx, showcases a unique story of survival in one of the planet's most challenging environments. In the dry and dusty plains of Etosha, large herds of zebras and antelopes navigate their existence against the backdrop of scarce water and relentless predators. Here, life is a constant battle against the elements and each other, with every drop of water and blade of grass becoming a precious commodity. The cycle of life is harsh, yet incredibly orchestrated, where every species, from the tiniest insect to the apex predator, plays a crucial role in maintaining the delicate balance of this ecosystem. The coastal areas influenced by the Benguela Current present a different yet equally challenging setting. The Cape fur seals, seemingly awkward on land but graceful in water, epitomize the adaptability required to thrive in this region. The presence of opportunistic predators like the jackal and the ever-watchful Cape gulls highlight the intricate food web that sustains life on these shores. The Namib Desert, with its ancient sand dunes and surreal landscapes, tells a story of endurance. It's a place where only the most tenacious survive, such as the sidewinder snake with its unique sideways motion, to avoid the scorching sand, or the horned viper, perfectly camouflaged against the desert floor. The stark beauty of Deadvley, with its centuries-old dead trees, stands as a testament to the harshness of this environment and the fleeting nature of life. Birds like the Namaqua, dove, and the Kori bustard add to the diversity of this region, each adapted to their own niches, each playing their part in the grand tapestry of Namibia's wildlife. These avian species bring a sense of movement and vitality to the desert and savanna, reminding us of the resilience and resourcefulness required to thrive in such a demanding habitat. Namibia's wildlife is a testament to the power of adaptation and the unyielding will to survive. Each day from dawn to dusk, the struggle continues, underscoring the raw and unfiltered essence of nature. This land, shaped by extremes, is a living, breathing demonstration of nature's ability to endure and flourish. As we conclude this journey through Namibia, we are reminded of the fragile beauty and the intricate interdependence of life. These stories of survival are not just tales of individual species, but are chapters in the greater narrative of our planet's biodiversity. Namibia stands as a beacon of both the challenges and the wonders of the natural world, a reminder of the resilience of life in even the harshest of climates.